So some of the advantage about being in the press would be that first you get traffic, and that's what every blogger really wants, and then you can become an expert because you get that credibility, and also it's kind of amazing that there are a ridiculous amount of opportunities that you can get by people seeing your press and then contacting you for different opportunities. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about getting cool stuff when you get press. One specific way of getting press is using a service called Help a Reporter Out, and that's a great first time to get some initial press, because what that is a query service. So they'll send you emails with journalists that actually want to have a story and need an expert. And so you'll just sort of pitch to them, and they'll either pick you or not pick you. It depends on your pitch and how good your pitch is. And so once they pick you, then you can start leveraging that to get it. And it's just a numbers game and getting there fast. Another best way to get press opportunities is to directly contact them. I actually talk about there's direct and then indirect ways of contacting. And actually one of my best tips, which is not directly contacting, which is but indirect would be guest posting. I was found from a reporter at CNN from one guest post that I did at GetRichSlowly.com. From there I was on CNN's TV show. From there I was picked up on Yahoo's homepage with my face right on Yahoo's homepage. And then someone from Kiplinger's Personal Finance magazine found that blog post, and then again that was syndicated again on Yahoo's homepage. So within 3 months, my face, the same face, was on Yahoo's homepage twice. So it's a little ridiculous. We wouldn't assume that guest posting will get you press, but you'd be surprised. The best tips for nailing any interviews would be to practice. So either do something like Toastmasters, which is a great speaking thing where you can learn how to speak better, or do a lot of smaller interviews. HARO, Help a Reporter Out, you can go ahead and get smaller level journalists and then sort of cut your teeth on them. So if you mess up, it's not a big deal. Because when I first got on CNN, I had done a couple interviews, but it was ridiculously nerve-wracking. And so now that I'm so used to it, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as all. So just practice is probably the biggest thing. And so first, before you even talk about having the traffic come, you need to talk about getting a link. Because it doesn't necessarily matter if you are on the page and they say your name, you will not get very much traffic unless you get a link. So really try your best to get a link. So once you get a link and say you're going to get a lot of traffic, you really have to optimize your site. So when I first started and I was like, oh my gosh, my site's going to be on national media, I went ahead and got an email list opt-in, and I made sure everything was set up for them. So I spent the whole weekend beforehand really trying to prep it. So that way it would convert, because once people come, if they leave, it doesn't really matter. That whole press wasn't really worth it for you because you got nothing out of it unless you sold some stuff. But in general, you really want to make sure you're capturing those leads.